All right, ready to dive in. Today, we're talking about something you probably use every day, but not in the way we're about to explore.
We're taking the humble Google Sheet, that trusty tool for shopping lists and budgets, and turning it into a powerhouse for project management.
Yeah, get ready for automation, smart predictions, even insights pulled from your entire workflow.
It's wild what you can do with a tool we all think we know so well. We're going way beyond those basic formulas and into like JavaScript and even some machine learning stuff.
Don't worry, we don't expect everyone listening to be coding experts or anything.
Right.
But imagine, like, a Gantt chart that updates itself in real time if a task gets delayed.
Or a system that knows your team so well it can suggest who's best suited for a specific task based on, how they've performed in the past.
That's the kind of power we're unlocking in this deep dive. It's not just about making things look fancy, though, right?
Definitely not. This is about solving real project management problems everyone faces.
Missing deadlines,
Uh-huh.
uneven workloads,
Yeah.
all that fun stuff.
All the things that keep you up at night.
So let's start with something classic, the Gantt chart. I know they can be a little,
Try.
yeah, bit dry. But this is where it gets interesting. What if, instead of that static timeline you got to manually update every time something changes, it adapted automatically?
That's where this idea a dependency graph comes in. Basically, think of it as a flowchart specifically for your project timeline. The code maps out which tasks rely on others, so if one thing gets pushed back,
The whole chart adjusts.
boom, exactly.
Okay, so let me try an example. Say I'm planning a marketing campaign.
Mhm.
If the design phase takes longer than expected,
hmm
the system would push back the launch date, social media posts, anything that needs those designs to be finished first.
Exactly. It's all connected, and it's not just dates. This system also figures out the critical path, the sequence of tasks that absolutely have to stay on schedule to hit your deadline.
So any delays on that critical path?
Have ripple effects.
Yeah.
Knowing what your critical path is helps you prioritize when things get crazy.
It's like a built-in early warning system, right?
Yeah.
Tells you exactly where to focus your attention to keep things on track.
You got it. No more scrambling last minute trying to figure out what's actually going to cause a major problem.
Love that. Now, another pain point I think we've all experienced is resource allocation. Sometimes team members are drowning in work.
While others are like twiddling their thumbs.
Yep. It's like you're constantly playing catch-up, trying to move things around so everyone's busy.
Ugh, it's the worst. But imagine a system that tracks everyone's workload in real time
Yeah.
and then suggests how to rebalance things automatically.
No way.
Yeah.
That's what this real-time resource optimization code actually does.
It does. It's kind of like having a conductor leading an orchestra,
Oh, I see.
making sure no one section is overwhelmed and everyone comes in at the right time.
Perfect analogy.
Mm.
Okay, this is already blowing my mind.
Uh,
But I hear things are about to get even more futuristic.
you could say that. Imagine a system that predicts which team member is most likely to succeed on a task, all based on their past performance.
Wait, is this Google Sheets or Minority Report? Are we talking like predictive task assignments powered by machine learning?
You got it. This code looks at historical data, figures out each person's strengths and weaknesses,
No.
and then actually calculates their probability of success on any given task. It even takes workload into account and matches expertise to make the most strategic assignments.
It's like having a coach who knows exactly which player to send in for each situation based on their stats and like how they've played before.
That's exactly it.
This could completely change how we build and manage teams.
Totally. We're moving away from just assigning tasks based on who's available to actually optimizing for results. And honestly, that's just the beginning.
All right, so we've seen how this system handles timelines and resources and even assigns tasks based on like who's most likely to succeed. But now we're stepping into the world of data analytics, which honestly can feel a bit intimidating.
Data gets a bad rap for being like all numbers and spreadsheets,
Right.
but it's actually incredibly powerful. What's cool about this Google Sheets system is that it takes all that raw data and turns it into something anyone can use. We're talking actionable insights.
Okay, so it's not just spitting out a bunch of numbers. It's actually helping you make better decisions based on what those numbers are telling you.
Exactly. Think of it like driving a car without a dashboard.
Oh.
You know you're moving, but you have no idea how fast you're going, how much fuel you have left, if the engine's about to explode. Data is like that dashboard for your projects.
Okay, that's a good analogy. So what kind of insights can the system actually generate?
Well, we're talking things like team velocity, which is basically how much work your team's getting done in a specific time frame, like, say, a week or a sprint.
So instead of just guessing how long a project will take, you can actually look at past data and make a more informed prediction.
Exactly. No more pulling numbers out of thin air. It can also show you if your team is consistently exceeding or falling short of expectations.
Oh, that's useful. And so you can then adjust resources or like tweak processes to make things more efficient.
Yep, exactly. Then there's something called burn down charts. These visually show you how much work has been done versus how much is left to do.
So you can easily see if you're on track.
Right. And it's a great way to spot potential roadblocks early on, if that burn down chart starts to flatten out or, God forbid, trend upwards.
You know something's wrong.
Exactly. Time to investigate before it becomes a major delay.
That's huge. It's like having an early warning system for your project.
It is. And these insights help you have more informed conversations with stakeholders, too. You can be proactive about communicating potential delays instead of trying to explain things after the fact.
I like that. Okay, what about risk management? Can this system actually help us identify risks before they derail the entire project?
Absolutely. It can analyze things like task dependencies, resource availability, even historical data from past projects to spot potential risks.
So it's like having a built-in risk management consultant always looking for potential problems.
That's a great way to put it. And it's not just about identifying them, but also understanding how serious they are, so you can focus on mitigating the most critical ones first.
That's super helpful. Okay, I got to ask about another common project management headache, bottlenecks. Those points where work just piles up and everything slows to a crawl.
Ugh, the worst, right?
Yeah, like a traffic jam for your project.
Exactly. But this system can actually help you identify those bottlenecks before they cause major delays.
And how
It analyzes your workflow and pinpoints where things tend to get stuck.
so you can streamline those processes.
Yep. Keeps things moving smoothly.
I love that we're moving from just reacting to problems to actually preventing them.
Right. And all this data isn't just presented as some boring spreadsheet. The system creates interactive dashboards and visualizations. It actually makes the information fun to look at.
So you're not drowning in numbers. You're getting insights that are actually easy to understand and use.
Exactly. It's like having a real-time control panel for your project with all the gauges and indicators you need, and it's all still happening within Google Sheets. You don't need to learn some fancy new software or hire a data scientist or anything.
Okay, seriously, this is amazing. It feels like we've gone from using Google Sheets for grocery lists to like running a NASA mission control center.
Well, the principles are kind of similar. It's all about gathering information, analyzing it, and using that to make smarter decisions.
So true. Okay, before we get too carried away, we have to talk about reports. Stakeholders love their reports.
Oh, tell me about it.
And creating them can take forever.
Yeah, it's a huge time suck. But this system can actually generate custom reports for each stakeholder. We're talking executive summaries for leadership, detailed trend analysis for the analysts, even forecasts to help everyone plan for the future.
Wait, hold on. So instead of spending hours putting together different versions of the same report with different levels of detail, I could just tell the system what each person needs, and it would generate the report automatically.
You got it. It's like having a personal assistant who knows exactly what each person wants and how they like to receive information.
That's incredible. It frees up so much time to actually focus on, analyzing the data and making decisions based on it.
Exactly. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Now imagine connecting all this data to other tools and platforms you're already using. Think project management software, communication platforms, even things like code repositories.
Hold on. Is that even possible? Can Google Sheets really talk to all these different systems?
Absolutely. The code we're looking at allows the system to integrate seamlessly with all sorts of external platforms. You can pull data from different sources, creating one central hub for all your project information.
So imagine this. You're managing a software development project. Updates from Jira automatically flow into your Google Sheets project plan. Notifications about code commits from GitHub pop up in your team's Slack channel. And all your key metrics and reports are updating in real time without you having to do anything.
That's the power of integration, right? It breaks down those silos and creates a single source of truth for everyone involved.
This is starting to sound like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. But before we get too carried away with all the possibilities, I think it's time to bring this conversation back to reality.
You're right. Let's see how this system actually performs in a real-world project with all its complexities and challenges. We're going to look at a case study of a global software development team and see what kind of results they were able to achieve using this Google Sheets approach.
Okay, let's do it. Time to put this system to the test. Okay, so we've talked about all the cool features this Google Sheets system has. But now it's time to see how it handles a real project, one of those massive, complex projects that can make a project manager's head spin.
Yeah, and that's exactly what this case study dives into. They took this system and implemented it at a big multinational tech company. We're talking over 150 people working across 12 different time zones, all on a huge software development project. Just the logistics alone are like,
Mind-boggling. Just coordinating meetings and deadlines across that many time zones sounds like a nightmare.
right. But here's the thing. They actually saw some amazing improvements. For starters, their coordination overhead, all those emails, meetings, status updates, it dropped by 40%.
Wow. So that's less time spent on just, like, managing the project and more time for actually doing the work.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just feeling less busy. Their ability to predict when they deliver features, that accuracy went up by 28%.
Which is huge for building trust, both internally and with clients. Did it have any impact on the technical side? Like catching errors sooner or avoiding those cascading delays?
Oh, absolutely. They saw a 65% decrease in what we call missed dependencies. Those are the moments where one task gets held up because another team isn't finished yet.
Oh, I know those moments all too well. It's like trying to build a piece of furniture and realizing you're missing a part. So frustrating.
Exactly. So, smoother workflows, fewer surprises. But what about the people actually using the system every day? Were they happy with it?
Yeah, that's the real test.
Well, get this. Team satisfaction with those automated workflows was 93%.
Wow. That's incredible. I guess when your tools are actually helping you instead of hindering you, it makes a big difference.
Definitely. It shows that this isn't just some theory. It can actually work in a really demanding real-world environment.
Okay, I'm convinced.
Yeah.
But I'm also curious about the challenges they face setting this up. A project that big, with so many moving parts, there had to be some bumps along the way.
Oh, for sure. The article mentions a few, like time zone management was a big one, making sure people weren't getting notifications at like 3 a.m.
Yeah, that smart timing feature we talked about earlier probably came in handy there.
Absolutely. Another big one was integrating the system with all their existing tools. I mean, they probably already had project management software, communication platforms, all sorts of things.
Right, it's not about replacing everything, it's about making it all work together. How did they manage that?
They basically built what we call API bridges. So it's like having translators that let all these different platforms talk to each other and share data seamlessly.
Oh, that's smart. It eliminates all those data silos that cause so much confusion.
Yeah.
But with so much information flying around, how do you make sure it all stays consistent, like nothing gets lost in translation?
Yeah, that's where meticulous tracking comes in. They set up a system that logs every single change made to the project, like a super detailed history.
Oh, I see. So everyone's always working with the most up-to-date information, and if there's ever a question about, like, who did what and when, you can just check the log.
Exactly. And all of this was done within Google Sheets, showing that you don't need some expensive specialized software to do really powerful project management.
This whole deep dive has really changed my perspective on Google Sheets. It's clearly way more than just a basic spreadsheet.
Right. There's so much potential there for automation and like making your work life way easier.
Absolutely. So for all our listeners out there, what are your biggest project management headaches? What kind of solutions have you found?
We'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below.
This has been an awesome conversation. It's clear that the future of project management is all about leveraging data and automation and really finding those smart integrations. I think we can all learn from each other's experiences. So keep experimenting, keep learning, and as always,
Happy project managing.